4D Alien in a Spaceship Acrylic Nail Art Tutorial by Hotpinkzebrapolish.
Hi guys, in today's video I have a very 4D alien spaceship that is sucking up a cow. So it's a long coffin nail that's got a really nice background that's a gradient from black to dark blue, and then it's this funny little cartoon cow being slurped right into the bottom of a spaceship. I love this, I think it's hilarious. It's got a little pop-up dome and you see the alien inside. I hope you like it as much as I do, and don't forget to click subscribe to see all my future videos as well.
I'm going to begin with a black to dark blue gradient. So I'm going to start with dark blue and apply that about the 2/3 mark of the nail, and then brush that up so it fades up the nail, and then continue that dark blue color down the nail. And so it's nice and solid with the blue at the tip, and then it'll progressively get darker once we add the black acrylic. So just add that first layer and fill that in with the dark blue. And then grab a bead of, after you're happy with your blue, but then grab a bead of black acrylic and place that at the cuticle. And then you're going to want to fade that down. So you don't want your black acrylic to be too opaque, and my black acrylic itself is super pigmented. And when you have a color like that, you might want to dilute it a little bit, just a little bit more monomer heavy on your brush, which will help kind of create that nice smooth gradient. Otherwise, you can actually dilute your acrylic with some clear, and that can also do it. Apply a little bit more blue to help blend the two colors together, and then encase the nail with a layer of clear acrylic. So the great thing is when you have a gradient and you have it where it's perfect, but the nail might not be thick enough. And this certainly happens because your gradient acrylic is a little bit thinner than the colors that you would normally build up a nail with. If you just encase it with clear, that'll protect your perfect gradient and it'll make the nail nice and strong. So definitely not something to overlook in a design that has a gradient in it. And I'm going to be filing the nail into shape with my e-file, starting out with a fairly coarse bit to remove any bulk. And after I have it where it looks nice and smooth and all of that jazz, I'm going to be switching to a finer bit and going over the entire thing, almost like a buffer block, and just kind of finishing it up. And with this design in particular, there is quite a bit of smaller sculpting on it and some painting as well. So when you do anything that's got any detail on top of it, you want to make sure you definitely buff the nail, because any little scratches or grooves that you might not be able to see with your naked eye will affect it in the end. Then I'm going to take, and I have a little eyedropper that's from an essential oil bottle. I'm going to paint it, create a little half circle on the end of it with some clear builder gel, cure that, apply some gel sealer on top of that, and then after that's cured, I'm going to pop it off and just stick it on the end of my nail holder brush cover stick and put some clear or sheer blue gel polish on the inside, and then apply some gel sealer on the inside as well, cure both of those between coats. But then file the edges just to kind of smooth it out, and that's going to be the clear little capsule window for your little alien guy. Then I put just a tiny bit of clear nail glue near the tip of, or near the cuticle of the nail, and placed a bead, a clear little seed bead for jewelry in there. And then I'm going to take my little alien holder window, and I'm going to create a little groove in it for where the bead will go. So just hold it up to the nail here and there to make sure that it's deep enough for the bead. And then you're going to want to bend a very small little piece of wire into a similar curve of your dome. So just curve it around. I used a brush cover to curve it. And then string that curved piece of wire through your bead that's on the nail, and then take your little alien dome and hold it up against the nail as close as you can. It's a little awkward as far as the holding it goes, and if you were doing this on a client, I would instruct them to remain as still as humanly possible and hope for the best, I suppose. But just make sure that you have a nice hold on it. And it might actually be easier to do on a client because you won't be worrying about dropping the nail that you're working on. But you're going to want to take and glue your little piece of wire to the inside of the dome. And so put some glue down, flip the wire up so that you can hold it there, and then after you have it where it's glued down, take some clear acrylic and secure it so that your wire doesn't come unglued. Just like everything else in life, don't make it come unglued. But then I'm going to sculpt the rest of my spaceship with a different blue. I used a more of like a medium periwinkle blue so that it didn't blend in with my background at all. And just add the first layer of it, and there's so much creative freedom you have when you're making a spaceship, because there's the kind of iconic cartoony spaceship idea that you have in your mind that just sort of pops up whenever you think of spaceship, which is what I tried to do here. But we honestly, if there are spaceships out there with aliens, we don't know what they look like or really what they have going on for them. So you can have as much fun with this as you'd like. And so you know, there's certainly options there. But I'm going to add that first part of my flying saucer, and then after I have the top portion of it, just keep adding layers. So I want it to stick out and be extremely 3D and have a nice little bit of height to it. So I did it in layers, much like an onion, if I'm going to be quoting Donkey from Shrek, but just do layer after layer and build it up. So you want it to be thinner towards the area where that little dome window flips down and have a nice thick edge on it at the outside rim of your flying saucer. Just like that. And then after you have it where you're pretty happy with it as far as that goes, then you're going to need to add the bottom of your flying saucer. And this part doesn't have to be nearly as thick or you have to build it up with so many layers. You can just do it with one nice thin little layer. It certainly has the effect with that first area of it. Then I'm going to take some either silver or gold acrylic, whichever you like. I use silver. And I'm going to be adding a little stripe across the front of my spaceship. And doing this, it might have been easier to do this with a color gel or paint or something. And that's certainly an option, especially if you had like a puff gel or something that had a little bit more texture to it. I want it to be 3D, so that's why I did that with acrylic instead of a more paintable product. I also added that little line across the bottom of my spaceship. Just a thin little silver stripe. And on the line between where the little glass dome is and the rest of the spaceship. Let's just fill that in with a nice little stripe. And then I'm going to be adding some little lights on my spaceship. So I did that with red and yellow acrylic. And I started out with yellow dots of acrylic on the underside of that rim. And because I had built up that rim so much, I have a lot of space to add these. And you can place them as close together as far as apart. You can switch up the colors. You can do a bunch of colors on the bottom. I mean, like I said, again, once you have so much creative freedom that you can have so much fun with this guy and do it however you like. If you did a set of these, it'd be fun to do a different kind of spaceship on each one. That would be a lot of work, but it would just have so much to look at in the end. There'd just be so much to see. But then I'm going to take and I'm going to be adding the red dots on the top line of my spaceship. Only 3 of them this time. And I also sculpted a little cow, and unfortunately I don't have video footage of that, and I do apologize, but I sculpted a little cow with white and beige acrylic. And so then after I have him done, I'm going to go through and start doing all of his details with acrylic paint, adding some lines and some spots on him, outlines, giving him some yellow eyes, just having a lot of fun with it. This design is cartoony and goofy and silly and all of those great things that it's a design that you don't want to take too seriously, so, you know, just a whole bunch of funny stuff. And on my cow, I made him so that his front legs are kind of up at a higher angle than his back legs, so it looks like he's being pulled up towards the spaceship. Kind of, he's floating through the atmosphere, going to be greeting an alien pretty soon. Add outlines wherever you need to. I also, with green acrylic, I sculpted my little alien inside my spaceship, inside that dome. So he's kind of the funny little surprise that when you open up the dome of your spaceship, there's an alien inside. And it's funny, I was showing my sister this nail as her nails were soaking off, her gel was soaking off, and I showed her this one, and she didn't know that it had opened, and she looked, she goes, well, it would have been so much fun, so much cuter if you put an alien in it. And I'm like, haha, look at this. And it's like, she goes, oh, you did put an alien in it. So I love any design that has a surprise element like that. So add outlines on your spaceship, make it really easy to see. Add some little lines for where, so there's kind of like this glow around your cow. And so I have diluted yellow paint, and I'm going to start painting that glow. And you're going to want to build it up with layer after layer so that it looks like it's a little bit yellower on the edges and kind of fades into that dark blue color again towards the middle where the cow himself is. So just add that so it looks like he's got a light beam going around him. The alien has to know what he's looking at, you know. And keep adding all those nice little details. With a brighter shade of green, I'm going to be kind of brightening up my alien. The green I used to sculpt him was more of like a grass green instead of a lime or chartreuse. So I added that color on top to make him very vibrant and very easy to see once you opened up his little dome. Add all of his facial features, give him eyes and little nostrils. He's so small, there's not too much detail that you can add, but certainly add whatever you can. And then I'm going to be applying a layer of gel sealer over the background, go around the cow, kind of fill in everywhere you can. And make sure that that background is so nice and shiny. And it's a little awkward to apply gel sealer around the dome, so make sure that you do it once when it's open and once when it's closed so you fill in all those gaps. Then apply some matte top coat over your alien, spaceship, and cow. And that is it. This little design is so fun and so just, I don't know, it just cracks me up. I hope you like it as much as I do, and here is a Melody Minutes.
What you doing, Melody? Are you helping with beans? Can you snap that one? Good job, and put it in the pan. Okay, grab another one, snap it, and put it in the pan.
You go
Yeah,
put it
can you
in?
put it in the pan?
Put it in.
Yeah, don't worry about that. Can you put that bean in the pan? Good job. Yeah. You gonna do that one too? Oh, good job. Perfect. Yeah, that's a good one too.
Thank you guys so much for watching. In case you're curious, Melody did break up that whole pan of beans. So I will see you in my next video. Bye!